it's interesting that this proposal on operational resilience is coming 6 months or so into COVID, where I think the whole issue of operational resilience has come more to the fore. So I'd be interested to hear a little bit around your thoughts on the proposal.
Even prior to the pandemic, the financial services industry was going through rapid transformation due to open banking and due to the rise of fintech. So there's now more market participants than ever. There are varying degrees of cyber maturity. And so that creates a non-level playing field in terms of the opportunity for risk to be introduced into the system. Against the backdrop of all this radical change and infrastructure scaling, we've also seen malicious actors be more active with scaling up attacks, looking for the soft underbellies of people adjusting to the new normal.
From our perspective, it is now also the moment for Europe indeed to present a comprehensive framework for operational resilience. So really the objective is here not to basically establish new standards, but to indeed make sure that everybody, let's say, respects some kind of baseline principles, and to make sure that indeed also authorities and regulators in Europe have a common approach to digital operational resilience.
What has the EBA been doing so far in the past?
So this proposal is very much based on the joint ESA's advice on ICT legislative improvements, where we exactly identify the 3 key areas which are covered by DORA. Continuation also it relates to the outsourcing guidelines, so that the work which has been done, it's feeding nicely into these new proposals. So it's not completely new set of requirements. It's again continuation. We were also pleased to see that the role of the ESAs is considered as important also in practical aspects of oversight of third-party providers. But we are very positive and very much welcoming this.
We do hope that this framework would ultimately provide additional assurances to our customers in the financial services space, as it will provide additional transparency and visibility into our practices by the regulators. If it's so important that the European supervisory authorities and the EBA and EIOPA and ESMA will play a leading role, and there will be a form of kind of like one-stop shop solution, it is very important to get it right. It is very important to make it effective, because it will have impact on all our businesses outside of Europe. And at the same time, it's very important that it's proportionate and really looking at our European customers, because ultimately, how do we make sure that specific European requirements do not get extrapolated to non-European customers, or how do we make sure that if they do, they're really consistent with international approaches as well?
We see DORA as an opportunity to remove ambiguity about reporting requirements. If there's clarity which can be introduced by the legislation and by the supervisors around how critical national infrastructure is designated, we think that would be really helpful.
We have made quite clear that when it comes to, in our proposal, when it comes to actually requirements for financial institutions, for financial firms, this is something which would be indeed governed by the DORA proposal, because of the good knowledge which the financial supervisors already have indeed of their firms. They are very well placed actually to take these rules which we are proposing are lex specialis indeed to the NIS directive. On the other hand, we are also clearly and explicitly keeping and also reinforcing actually the link to the NIS ecosystem, actually to the information sharing, to the cooperation between authorities in this area.
How do you see international cooperation evolving, not just broadly the cooperation among supervisors internationally, because this become a common theme. Jonathan made it. Threats are global, cooperation needs to be global.
The topics that are addressed in these proposals are things that the UK regulatory authorities have been focusing on for quite a considerable amount of time. The one area where I think the UK authorities have taken a sort of a slightly different approach is to look at operational resilience more holistically, and design features of our proposals are a little bit more technology neutral, in the sense that they do not sort of focus on just the digital aspects, but they focus more broadly on sort of people, services and processes. All the initiatives, both at the domestic, European and global level, are at some point in the sort of gestation process. They're all at different stages of development, but none have been finalized. This is definitely one area to kind of explore and discuss as the legislative discussions and the finalization of our policy evolves. And as they begin to sort of crystallize and mature, it would be certainly useful to keep an eye out for, on the issue of kind of regulatory fragmentation and try and promote a convergence of standards or a compatibility of standards whenever possible, particularly for those firms that operate on a cross-border basis.